Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. A little Sunday special. Actually, this isn't gonna come out until Wednesday, but it's a little treat. I wasn't expected to do a show today because I thought you were running them street. For some reason, I thought you were busy. I don't know why. And I know we talked about it after the last show, but I thought there was something you were like, I gotta go, and I don't know.
No, that's that open house at Natalia School, but
oh, that's right.
Thursday, yeah.
So maybe
Thursday, bro.
Yeah. Today, honestly, and the Sunday is the one we got to try to lock in because that's the one we should do the live on because more people are on. But this one, hey, so how do we start each show with our tagline, right? Just two gentlemen, you and I, tackling problems one topic at a time. And I don't know if this is necessarily a problem. This actually, because I think we're gonna have two different perspectives. Because I don't think I have as close of friends as maybe you do. I don't know. Actually, I don't know. I don't think that we really talk much on it. I have a lot of like close acquaintances, and I would call them close friends, but like my friendships go up and down. So we'll get into that. But I have a feeling we're gonna have different perspectives on this one.
Yeah, for sure.
But the quote I saw was, "A friend is one who walks in when the rest of the world walks out." Walter Winchell. I don't know if that's a dude that came up with Winchell's Donuts or. Or what, but he's the one
because you made good donuts, huh?
Right? Right? Hey, that is a good friend when someone walks in with a
12 friends on my team.
Exactly, a dozen of Winchell donuts. But anyways, that is true. But see, I've never had that deep of a friendship where, I would do anything for my friend, but it's never been tested, like that, So, but anyways, let's jump right into it. Like I said, I think we're gonna have two different perspectives. But that's why we do the show, First question, can two best friends, or just even good friends, can two really good friends survive a major life change like marriage, moving away, and can you do that without drifting apart? I'll let you take this.
I'm gonna say as long as obviously both parties are invested, I think they can survive anything. I think we covered a little bit on the last one. I don't know if it made it onto it, but my circle of friends are small, bro.
That's right. I kind of remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's like I have friends that I've known for almost all my life. You know what I mean? And a lot of them were around when I didn't have kids, and I was kind of the first one in that circle to have kids, and that brings on certain things, a little bit more understanding as far as to why you're not around as much or why you can't really go out to parties and stuff. You know what I mean? Or you're inviting them and it's like a family party, like, from first birthday, second, whatever. And it's like, you still hang out with them, but you're not kind of they're more understanding to it. So I think, and then obviously when they get older and they have kids and, some of them I was fortunate some of them had kids when I had my other kids, like Nick and Natalia. So it's a different dynamic, bro, when you have people that can kind of understand, or they're like, and then plus you also hit a certain age where you're like, you're not really doing stuff. You're not out
all the crazy stuff
because,
Yeah. So you're saying like a lot of your friends, their lives went in the same kind of arc that yours went.
Yeah. But I mean, it was a little bit later.
What if they hadn't, or they never did? Or do you still have friends that never got married or never had kids, and are you still able to, like, do you still have stuff in common with them besides just growing up together?
I do have I would say somewhat of a relationship with them, but it's not the core group, like the ones that I talk to like on a regular basis, where it might be a text, it's a phone call, or stuff on social media. But as far as the ones that don't have kids, I think that it's not that many of them, and those I don't really. I mean, I'm still cool with them, but I don't really. I guess we're not in contact as much as we probably could be.
So, yeah, because your lives are too different.
Yeah.
So for me, I meant like my friend, like the two that actually the couple that I hung out with when I was still like in the streets, trying to chase tail, do what, what us manly Aguilars do. You know what I
Put
mean?
on this planet to do.
Well, exactly. I was born and they wrote me out the script. And one of the bullet points was chase tail, repopulate
Yeah.
the earth. But anyways, my buddy Andy, who I've known since like 5th or 6th grade, white dude, cool dude, but we were both single at the same time. I think we even both that was my first marriage, but we both got married at the same time, but we were in the streets. But it seemed like it was just us two for a long time. I was always hanging out with Davey and Johnny. We were running the streets. That was in that same era. And but then after that, after I had the kids and everything, like I kind of like went isolationist. I was like by myself. I was really just hanging out with like family, same thing. Davey, Johnny, we go to the bars and stuff. And that was already when I had kids, so it wasn't too crazy. Um, but then my next group of friends was like Roni, Roni. I think you met him, and he's still single. So it's like he never had kids. So, but we still, but that was also kind of came in when I was already going through my divorce. So now I'm back in the, running them streets again. So it was like, that's why I would hang out with him. And then I met a lot of guys through him. And then now that I'm married again and my kids are getting older, now I'm starting to hang out and doing more like golf and stuff like that. I'm hanging out again with Andy and another buddy from high school. And that's just because, we play golf. That's our thing. We hang out a little bit, every once in a while they'll invite me over for a game or something. We'll hang out, do some stuff. But for the most part, it's golf. So it's like, is that, I don't know. That's, how it's like, is that a hardcore friend? Yeah. Cause I've known him since 5th grade. My other dude, Lathrop, I've known him since high school. So, and even with like the Lathrop, we do like, we've done a couple of vacations together. He's a cool dude, cool. Like I like his speed, he's real chill. His kids are older too. So we kind of have that common, but for me, it's been like phases like that. You know what I mean? And I have a small group.
Practically.
Yeah. Exactly. Taylor Swift eras.
Yeah.
But, I could probably do it on my hand, like 5, that I really, and I've had some, like my shout out to my buddy X. I don't think he listens to this, but that was back when we were running the streets. We used to go to Costa Rica. We were just all we were trying to do was just try to, so I've had, my buddy Joel has been there since high school and I still hang out with him a lot. But it's just like, actually, I shouldn't say a lot. It's sporadic, but there's like we do that fantasy draft that I go to. So we're going to Nashville in like 2 months. We do stuff like that. We went to Cancun last year. I don't see him as much as I should. He's an air traffic controller, so his hours are crazy. But I wish I could. Like he has the same interests I have. Like he likes to drink, he likes to have cigars, he likes to chill, he loves music. So we go to his house. What are we gonna do? Yeah, we just end up listening to music and drinking. He loves to make drinks, and we'll have a cigar or something, and it's perfectly chill. But so that's what I'm saying. I have different types. But anyway, so that's what it is with me. Some have been closer at certain times, and some aren't as close, and then some are close. But so that'll come out a little bit more.
But also,
Okay.
I mean, also I think it's also, I mean, like you said about your divorce. Like I kind of just started thinking right now, like probably the one I've known the longest is my buddy Jaime. I've known him since 7th grade, and we've been in contact literally ever since. I mean, the only time we probably didn't is when he was deployed. He was in the army. There was times where he was active, whatever. My cousin Victor, the one I told you, he's my like a brother to me, dude. We grew up together. My friend Roland, I've known him since I was 19. Like all these guys they've been around me since before I had kids. They've been through like the heartbreaks, the breakups, all the drama. They've always been there.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of where what I value the most. And like
Right.
it's like you said, like yeah, we don't talk, and I mean I'm like, but I also I don't. For me, it's a support. It's not even like I call them and I was like let's talk it out. It's just being able to hang out when we can hang out.
Right.
And now that I'm like, I don't really do that. I don't really hang out with my buddies like on a regular basis. It's something that you don't realize until you don't have it. You know what I mean?
No, you start to miss that, but it's hard, like me and my buddy Roni, like we were just texting. I don't hang out with him as much because I don't know, he was going through something. I don't know, he's been real kind of quiet and chill, but normally like right now, spring, summer, this is where we start popping. Like he wants to go in the pool, he wants to, hey, let's golf, let's drink, and then afterwards let's go to Madrano's and eat and drink more. And so it's like that's our whole thing. And it's really been chill because I don't know, he's just like he's not drinking anymore either. So but like Friday we're supposed to go. They have at the golf course over here, it's called Friday Night Lights, and they open the range, and there's just lights, and there's like a band at night.
Oh,
So it's
nice.
just kind of it's like a chill, it's especially it involves golf. So
It's a vibe.
it's a vibe, yeah. So we're like, hey, let's go Friday, bro. We don't even ever like I never hang out with them anymore. It's like I miss how you were saying the people that you kind of grew up with or that you were there for you. You miss hanging out because it's going to be laughs and good jokes and all that. But it's just like it's hard to do when you're in your full. And honestly, most weekends I'm just here with Desiree on the couch, just half asleep by 10 o'clock. Oh, you know what I mean? But I don't. Yeah, it is what it is. Like as you get older, you don't do as many of those things. But it is fun when you can. But yeah, that was how you said the ones that have been there before. That's true. You have like a comfort with them, because they've seen you probably at your lowest or your worst, and they've seen you at your best. So it's like. They're not going to judge, you know what I mean? They're not going to judge you. They've already seen so that's kind of cool to see too. I've like most of my buddies, they've seen me when I went through the divorce or when I was pretty good when I had my kids. I put my kids first and all that, but they've seen me when I was, running them streets and whatever. So they've seen my worst, they've seen my best, so and everything in between, but it makes it more comfortable. You know what I mean? Like when someone's seen you at your worst and they accept you, like, okay, like
they still call you the next day and they're like, hey man.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Next question. What do you think is more important in friendship, loyalty or honesty?
I'm gonna say loyalty for me.
Loyalty.
Yeah, I think loyalty. I mean, honesty is cool, but I mean, it kind of. I don't know. I mean, I don't. I mean, if you're not honest, I guess you're kind of deceitful. So maybe that's not being loyal. I mean, they don't go hand in hand, but they're pretty similar.
Yeah, honestly, I've never really had an issue with like a friend not being loyal or not, like not being honest. I've never really had that issue. I don't know what, because most of my friends have been friends for years and years. So I feel like you find that kind of stuff out early if somebody's kind of like not honest or they're a little bit shady or they just do some weird shit. And so for me, if I'm like, there's like a kind of a new friend. Like I remember there was this new guy we were hanging out with. I don't even want to say what, because he probably listens. He'll get all pissed. But
he's a number one subscriber.
Yeah, probably. He's like a stock.
Yeah,
but he was a cool dude. We were having a good time with this group we were hanging out with, golfing and stuff. And then just kind of just got weird. You know what I mean? But in the beginning, I was like, oh, this is a potential. Like, okay, here we go. We got someone who's up. Who's maybe has a shot at cracking into this little, my little inner circle. I'm not trying to say it's any big old thing, but I like the qualities of this dude. Funny, he's always there. He's always like his energy. I'm like, okay, but then just slowly but surely after hanging out more and more, just kind of like, and so now I don't really hang out with that dude anymore. So I feel like eventually people's how you're saying their true colors or whatever start to eventually come out, and you'll start to see that, and that's when you can kind of weed anybody off. But somebody that's been there forever, what they're about.
Yeah.
I've never really had friends that like. Close friends that were lying or what's disloyal, try to steal your chick or something. I would never can't imagine hanging out with a weasel like that. Like so for me, I've never had that issues. I don't know if you had.
No, you know what? It's funny you say that because now that I look back, like fuck, dude, from like as far as back as I can remember, like all the people that I've met, you do meet some shady people, dude.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 100%.
Underhanded, like just
weird
people, dog. Like, it's crazy. Yeah. Like, now you look back and I'm like, hey, I remember that guy. There used to be this guy that we used to hang out with in like high school. And later on, I found out that he used to always steal from people, dog, like at parties and shit. He just like, go to people's houses, like, go take a piss. And he's like taking stuff from the fucking bathroom, from the living room. Like, that's wrong, bro. Like,
and whatever, that's bad. But no, that's true. Because even if they're doing that in high school, that's bad character.
Yeah, man.
What are they going to be doing? What are they going to be doing later? If they don't have any kind of conscience back then, what's going to stop them? And
then also, that's another thing. Like, now that you mentioned that, like, I think also the inner circle for me, it's like the way they carry themselves with your friends and your family, or like when you bring other people
Oh,
into
yeah.
that. Like now that I'm married to Laura, like I've had friends from her side that they grew up with her and whatever, and then I have my friends, and when you mix them up, like they come in, they come hang out. It's like as long as they're cool, and then there's like you don't want somebody being disrespectful to like they have daughters or whatever, and them getting fresh with them or something, like like come on.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
thankfully, yeah, no, these guys they've always been respectful. They carry themselves a certain way, and that's another thing, I guess, like another trait, I guess, that I like. But I mean, because yeah, like you never know, man. Like these people are crazy, bro, in this world.
Yeah, no, 100%. Next question. Um, do you believe, actually, this is kind of what I was touching on, but do you believe friends are seasonal, or should real friends kind of always be around? This is what I was talking about, but if you want to take it.
They might be all seasonal, like every single season. I think they should
I
always
mean,
be around.
right, it should be.
I mean, I think, like you said, like you have homies that hit you up more spring and summer. I think it's just kind of the season for hanging out. The weather's better. I mean, a lot of people, like the kids are out of school and stuff like that. So I mean, I can totally get that. But I think if you can hang out when it's raining, or if you can hang out holidays, like I mean, yeah, why not? I don't think it's a must, but I think it's a benefit for sure.
Right, right. I agree. The same. That's why I was just saying earlier, like my buddy Roni, like during summer, it's like I see him too much. I would see him a couple times a week. You know what I mean?
Till he moves in,
But
you charge him rent.
yeah, but then exactly. But then during winter, it's like, where is this fool? Will nowhere to be
He's
found.
like a bear, fool. He probably hibernates.
Yeah, no, it's yeah, exactly. So for me, yeah, I get that. I get that. I get that. Okay, next question. Have you ever had to break up with a friend, or like cut off a friend, maybe in the beginning, or even like one that you've had for a long time, just because it's like, man, this is just not working.
Actually, like to end it, um, I'm gonna say yes, yes, I have, and I actually picked this up from Cass. Shout out Cass. She is amazing at gutting, weeding, whatever you want to call it, cutting people out that are no benefit to her. And she's actually taught me this, and I'm very like false loyal, I guess. I don't know if that's the right word, but it's like if you hang out for too long, if you're like this is not good for you, and you're like kind of like just it is what it is, or that's how they are. And I was like that for a long time. And I have a buddy that I used to be really good friends with, but he did some stuff that was questionable to me, and a lot of people don't agree with it. A lot of people are kind of like, well, that's a friend from back in the day. That's somebody that you should be. And I don't think you should be with anybody. I don't think you should be a friend with anybody that makes you feel the way I felt. You know what I mean? And I mean, to me, some people might think it wasn't a big deal, but to me it was. So I kind of slowly started like not talking to him. I hadn't seen him in like 5 years, so it wasn't like he was like hanging out all the time.
Right.
But after what he did, I was like, you know what, like that's it, dude. I'm done. And then I unfriended him, and I just stopped responding to his texts and his messages, and he was going through some stuff in his life. But to me, that's not an excuse, bro. Like, you're an adult. You're not a little kid.
Right. Right.
You're
Right.
a
Right.
teenager. Like, you gotta step it up, dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I
Did
think it
you
was because, like I
feel?
said, having those conversations with Cass, and she's like, you know what, I kind of stopped talking to this person, and I was like, oh shit, like that. And she's like, yeah. She's like, she's like, I'm putting in more effort on my end. And I was like,
Right. Right.
you know what, that is true. And then I started thinking, like I said, I haven't hung out with this guy in 5 years. Like he would only hit me up when he needed stuff. Like, I'm like, come on, this is one-sided. I'm out, and that's it. But that's probably the only one. That's the only one I've ever had like deal with it in that sense.
Yeah. Did he ever hit you up after, like, hey bro, what's up? Like, you just cut me
Yeah,
off?
he hit me up a bunch of times, and he was like sending me messages, and he's like, hey man, I really would like to chop it up with you. And I was like, nah, dude, I'm done. Like, what is there to say? I'm checked out. I'm good.
Did you tell him why you cut him off?
No, I said, you know what? I think I said, dude, just get right with your family, get right by your kids. I said, don't
Oh,
worry about
okay.
me.
That's good. Yeah.
basically I don't need anything from you.
Right.
You know, and like I said, it had been one-sided for most of the friendship.
I mean,
like
there are just people like that, you know, they're just kind of a little bit more selfish. So it's always going to be a little bit more one-sided, you know?
And he was always like victimizing himself. Everything was, oh, it's because of this. And then when you try to like, when he would like hit me up, like, hey man, you know, this happened and I need this or I need that. And what do you think? And then I would tell him, and if it was something he didn't like he would get defensive. Oh,
yeah.
it's because,
Why'd you ask me? Why'd you ask me?
Like, yeah. I mean, he went to the point where once he was like, they told me I need to go to therapy, but I'd rather just talk to you. I was like, nah, dog. Like, I'm not your fucking therapist, dude. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not.
Yeah. And then eventually, after a while of doing that, it's like, well, yeah. What is the point? What do I, you know? I'm just over here to help
I mean, like, you're just gonna fucking bum me out.
Right.
Like, yeah, man.
Okay. So yeah, that was the same like me. How would I go? But it never got to that point. That it sounds like this dude, you guys were actual friends for a while.
Yeah, we know him. I'm telling you, I've known that guy. I met that guy when I was in middle school.
Wow.
Hung out with him high school. Hung out with him fucking as an adult, and he was always just kind of never had us together. Kind of always, well, like I said, like a always me. Everything bad happens to me. I don't know why.
So it just drains you, huh? Kind of like,
yeah, man. And it's like okay, whatever. And then it's like, now that I look back, I'm like, dude, I've been kind of like dealing with that stuff since we were adults. Once we got out of high school, like we would hang out all the time, and I was like, dude, this guy's a drain. Like I'm not trying to have this. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That's good. I've never done it through that way. I probably, if I had a friend that long, I would just probably ghost them, you know, tell them, have Desiree text him, be like, oh, Paul passed away or something. You know what I mean? So I don't like confrontation. That way I have to deal with it.
I'm 100%, bro. And I think that's why, like I said, I had that loyalty because I said, oh, you know, I've known him for a long time. And then people have told me like, oh, you should because you've known her a long time. I'm like, nah, dude, I don't need that. Like for what?
Yeah.
Like what do I get out of it, bro? Like,
oh, you said your daughter is the one that helped you see that.
She's the one who, like, when I think I was having a conversation, I think I bounced this off of her because she told me that.
Yeah.
And you like, oh yeah, you know, I think you mentioned
that. I think you mentioned that on the girls podcast. You said that her personality is that type, like she's nice, outgoing, all that, but like she don't take no shit. And if she's
bro. And like I said, for when I first, because this isn't the first time. We're talking about this has been going on since like middle school.
Yeah.
And I think the first time that she told me something like that, I was kind of like, yeah, I go, that happens, especially when you're in middle school, because that's when you start getting new cliques, you start meeting people, and people start trying to find their personality or what they're gonna be. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it could go it could go good, it could go bad. And I said, you're gonna meet, especially with girls. I said, girls they're not very good at having friends, and they'll do stuff that's questionable, especially when there's a guy involved or whatever. And so recently, when I was telling her about this, because she knows them, and then I told her, I said, well, what do you think? Like, and she goes, oh, you know what? And then she goes, this is what I would do. And I was like, damn, like, it's pretty. At first, I was like, that's pretty cold-blooded, like. But then I was like, you know what? Like that gives you peace of mind. You know what I mean? Like you get to like live your life without this little drain. And then I mean, to me, I mean, like I said, I wasn't losing sleep over it, but it was just annoying.
Sometimes that's crazy how it takes somebody else to point out to you, like, oh, okay, you know what I mean? Because that's how I am. I'll just keep putting up with it, dealing with it until someone else like, why would you want that in your life?
Yeah. You know what? It's funny because like if you like. Obviously, I have a different opinion about Cass because she's my daughter, but I feel like she's very, very friendly, very kind. She makes friends really easily at work, at school, whatever. And one of the things I told her, I said, dude, do not let these people mistake your kindness for weakness. I go, be kind, but take no shit.
Right.
Her birthday card, that's one of the things I usually write. Be kind, but take no shit. Like you have to like, I guess be nice at first. But then, you know, you adjust. If they're jerks to you, then boom.
You gotta switch it up.
Yeah. So thankfully, like I said, she seems like she can cut them out.
That's good. That's a good quality.
Yeah, I don't want them to be like friends with people that are bad for them.
Right.
Because a friend should be somebody that brings something to the table. Doesn't just sit down and expect to be fed. You know,
and just a taker, take.
Yeah.
So, you know, what are you offering? Which I have no problem being a good friend. I got no problem taking you places, being there. But it's like, but eventually And that could also be, I don't even want to go down that rabbit hole, but it could be family too, which family you can't really get rid of like that. I mean, you can in a way, but same kind of thing. Family can, it's like just drag you down. It's like, what am I getting at? Like, why do I put up with this? But that's a totally different thing.
But I do think family is worse in that sense, for sure.
Yeah. Because and family too, it's hard to, you can't just cut it off for good. You can kind of,
you get that guilt, like, oh, well, we're family. And then like, like my mom's very big on that. Like, oh, that's your family. You need to be, like, why do I got to be that? Why can't they be
right.
not jerks about it?
Yeah, exactly.
And I think also, like, speaking on friendships, I think because, there's that saying where you're like cousins are your first true homies.
True.
And I think that kind of goes, that's kind of like the seed that plant that grows into that mentality where it's like, well, they're your cousins, or they're this or they're that. You need to be nice to them.
Oh, so you're saying maybe that starts the whole
I think so
process of like forcing you to be in relationships with people that you really shouldn't be and you don't want to be, but it's like, oh, I got it. It's my friends in fifth grade, so I gotta.
That's who I grew up with. I grew up with my cousins, dude. Especially like when I was little.
Yeah, same.
We would go to one of my aunt's houses, and my grandma was there, and she would watch all my cousins. And then I would get dropped out. I'm like, my mom didn't work, but I'd go hang out with the cousins during the summer break. We'd figure out like, like 6 or 7 of us, bro, running around.
My house at my mom's was like that. It was just like every summer, it was just like, you didn't even know who was there half the time. It was like people coming and going, but everybody was there for at least a month or two of that summer, all the cousins. And yeah, exactly. Your cousins are your first friends.
They're your first homie, bro. And then,
first homie.
And it's like, I think it depends on you. If you grow up to be a good friend, cool. But if you're one of those cousins that's maybe a little more dependent on other people, or maybe you like to do certain things that others don't, and you see something that they don't like, and then they're like, oh, you need to be, because you're family. Like, nah, dude, like it doesn't work that way. Like, it's a good idea.
It's not a free pass. It's not a free pass that you can just do. At
a certain point, I think I realized that, dude, everybody needs to like pull their weight around, bro. Like, why am I getting yelled at because this fool's being a little buster over here, little crybaby or whatever, and I'm like, like now I gotta get punished. Like, nah, like this was a punk.
Yeah,
and then they grow up that way. You know what I mean? Their parents raise them a certain way, and I mean, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, what are you gonna do? Yeah. Okay, how about this one? Is it okay to be friends with an ex?
On an episode of Friends, maybe, but
and like you're right, on the show Friends, they're all friends. You know what I mean? They're all like,
it's like who's banging who. But no, I think it. Like I said, Hollywood for sure. It makes for good television. It makes for a good movie. In real life, I think realistically, no. How can you be friends with somebody who like slashed your tires or broke your windows? But I will say this, like, as far as like I don't think I'm friends with any ex. Like, obviously I'm not hanging out with any of them. I'm not talking to any of them, but I think as far as like if you're mature enough on both ends, anything's possible. But go ahead.
What do you think about like always like the white people who are like divorced and they're still hanging out together? Like, oh, Christmas, your father's like all, and his new wife is coming.
Yeah, and we're all going skiing and shit.
Yeah, like, is that a real thing, or is that just a white thing?
Do you know anybody like that?
No, I don't. I'm trying to think. This chick I was dating in high school, like freshman year, sophomore year, and then we broke up. And I think we follow each other on Facebook. That's probably the closest. Actually, I saw her one time. We were at the bar across the street, the restaurant. And I saw her with her husband, and it was like, remember looking at like, who, like we both kind of, you look at someone like, who do I know? How do I know you? And then she came, or one of, like, I don't know, we spoke to each other like, oh, hey, oh, what's up? Da, 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 da. And it was cool. It was cordial, but like, would I ever be friends with her? No, of course not. We're not, but I would say that's the most. And that was from a freshman year relationship. And it's cordial now, but no other exes. I don't think I would, because it's just like, what's the point? What's the point of being? They have their own life. They have husbands. They have kids. Like, what do they need you? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think maybe like that. That's something that was a relationship before adulthood, but I think after adult, like when you become an adult, I don't think like with Cass's mom. I mean, I was in contact with her because of Cass. I wasn't like
Right.
we weren't friends. I mean, we were
Right.
enemies for a bit, but as she got older, it got less severe, I guess. And then, I mean, now, I've been in the same room with her, like
Oh, yeah.
during conferences when they were like in middle school, and I've been around her like when she graduated from high school, and like we went to the graduation.
Do you guys like talk or do you
Yeah, we
just?
met. We had a meet at the front because of the tickets, and then I sat with her because they had the spacing or whatever. They had the 6 feet, and so you can only sit with the people you came with, and whatever.
Did
But
she is she with somebody else now?
yeah, she's actually she's with somebody else, and she's had 2 other kids, and
Have you met the new guy?
yeah, she's actually with a different one now.
Okay.
I met the dad of the 2 kids, and I met
Okay,
the
so
one that she's
you
dating now. Yeah, I think I picked up.
okay, so you're not that bad. You're not like,
Yeah,
hey,
we're not throwing rocks at each
yeah,
other's cars anymore, but
right.
but
So if you saw her one Saturday you're in Vallarta and you run across her, are you gonna, hey, what's going on?
I tried to toss some stuff in her car when she wasn't looking, but yeah, I'm not yeah, I don't like I said, we
So
don't have beef.
there's no more anger. There's no more.
Nah,
There's
not on
nothing
my
to
end.
fight. There's nothing to fight about.
Yeah, like we're like Cass is already an adult herself, like
Right.
you know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah.
But and I mean I think at a certain point you hit a certain age and your maturity level goes up and you kind of think like, oh, that's a little petty, or because there was a lot of petty stuff
All
I
right.
did growing up. To when you feel
Right.
you've been wronged, you react a certain
Yeah.
way.
And that's how I feel. And I just feel like too. There's how you were saying your inner circle is small, mine is small. There's not enough time in the day to hang out with my closest inner circle. Why am I going to try to add some weird ass ex you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, why am I going to spend any kind of time? I barely have enough time for my kids, for my, for Desiree, for the friends that I do want to hang out with, family that I do want to hang out with. So you think I'm going to blow that on some ex from 10 years ago? Like, there's just no point.
Yeah.
Plus, if you're dating, if you're with someone, not dating, but if you're with someone else, it could be kind of disrespectful to
Yeah. Of
still be
course.
friends with
Yeah.
someone who you were dating, you were having relations with. Okay. So we're both on the same page on that. How about this one? Should you tell your friend, let's say your really good friend, if you found out that their partner was cheating, even if it might ruin everything? And you know what? This was that movie. Remember that movie? It was, what's that fat dude? Kevin James.
Yeah. Right.
I think it had Vaughn, maybe. I don't know. The friend
Yeah. I think he
saw
was like the
that.
best friend, and he couldn't, for some reason he couldn't just tell him, hey, dog.
He couldn't tell him, or he didn't want to
That would have been
he
a
didn't want to
2 minute
jack him
movie.
up.
That would have been a 2 minute movie. Like, hey, it's over. Yeah. No.
What
I
would
think
you do?
for sure.
What would you do?
For sure.
You would for sure tell him?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, see, I know that's the right thing to do. That's why it's like a dilemma for me, because it's like, because if that comes out that and you didn't tell, like you're a horrible friend.
Yeah.
But then it's like I know my first instinct is like, I don't want to like destroy, especially if it's someone who's like so into that. Remember how we were saying some people are more into the significant other than the other,
Obviously, the one that cares less.
who cares less. What if obviously the one cheating cares less, but like, dang, this is gonna like ruin his life. I don't know. I might be hesitant, but in the end, if you don't say anything and that comes out, oh, bro, you might go down as the worst friend of all time.
I think in that scenario, I would put myself in the position of the one getting cheated on. Like, dude, I would want to know.
True.
You know what I mean? And also, I think at that point, maybe there's probably already some hints at it,
cracks
maybe,
or whatever, and
because something ain't right, bro. And then like you said, if I find out that my homeboy's like, oh yeah, I saw them, they were
hey, I was on a double date with them. We might.
Yeah.
I didn't know you would want to know.
Yeah, we were actually pulling into the motel at the same time. Like, dude, come on, for sure, I would want to know. So
Okay,
I think,
good.
for sure,
All right.
I would say something.
Okay, same. What about this one? Have you ever been jealous of a friend's success or just anything? Have you ever been jealous of, anything? Maybe a chick they pulled. I know when I was younger, you're trying to pull chicks, and like, did you ever get jealous in terms of like of that?
I think the only time I've ever been jealous of a friend, it was for like material possessions, bro. I think one of my homeboy Roland, shout out Roland. He bought a Escalade, bro, back in
Oh, damn.
2003, maybe. You know, when they redid the design, bro, and he bought a sick Escalade and hooked it up.
Those were the
Bro, that thing was disgustingly sick, bro.
Yeah.
Like I remember when I first saw it, I was like, God damn. So
how did he afford that
he was making
as
money,
a young
bro.
kid?
Yeah, he was
Damn.
making money. He didn't have no kids. No, we wouldn't.
Oh, that's true. You
Yeah.
could put your whole paycheck towards a car payment back
Yeah,
then.
exactly, bro. So I mean, like I said, when I saw it, I was like, damn. And I think the first time I saw it, he had just put some rims on it, sick ass sound system, like two
Hooked it up.
surrounder, bro.
Yeah.
And
Hey, does he still have it?
I think his dad might still have it. I think his
Shit,
dad.
have him-
You
have
know
him
what? I
come-
don't know. That's a good question.
Have him come pick us up for a weekend. Take us out.
Yeah, we'll go to Madrano's food. No,
Yeah.
you know what? It's that I remember thinking like, damn, that's a nice car. Dog. And at the time, I was like, damn, I would love to have that. Why can't I have it?
Right. But that's not like you didn't wish he
yeah.
didn't have it, right? Like,
but
you weren't like a hater. You were just like,
yeah, I wasn't like, damn, he doesn't deserve it.
right,
You know what I
right,
mean?
right.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I'm very big on like, there's enough money in this world for everybody, bro. Like as long as you don't take money out of my pocket, food off my table, or clothes off my kids' backs, like more power to you, bro. Make as much as you can when you can make it.
And that's
You know what I
good.
mean?
That's not, and that means you're this hat is like jacked up, and that means you're content with your, you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, like I
That
said,
means you're content with. That means you're content, and that's a good thing.
I tell the kids, man, everybody has the same 24 hours.
Mhm.
Everybody has the same opportunities, and if they don't, they need to go out and get more, right? Like I tell cats, if you get a job, get another job. I said you need to make more than the one you left.
Yeah, should always
You know
be
what I mean?
going
Just
up.
because like nobody told me that when I was little, bro. Everybody told me like, oh, you just gotta work. You either work or you go to school. So for a long time, I was like, all right, well, I'm working. Like, you know, what more do I want? When is everything else gonna happen?
Right.
And it wasn't until I got older and I was like, damn, like I need to make more money. I need to do this. I need to do that. Like I gotta, you know. And I think once you get that mentality, and then once you know, with Laura, she was the same mentality, and that's, you know, we started going forward. But yeah, no, I think I'm very big on like, yeah, hopefully like everybody that I know, they're
That's
happy where
cool.
they're
That's
at.
good.
If they're not, they can get where they're going. Like yeah, more power to them, bro.
So then I guess I shouldn't believe what everybody says. So I thought you were a bad guy. No, it sounds like you're actually
Yeah, I'm
sounds like sounds like you're a nice dude, bro. You're actually wishing for other people's success.
Yeah. Hey man, I want you to get a raise this year.
Yeah, with my job performance, I might get a decrease. I don't know, is that possible?
Can I sit in on your next evaluation? Come on.
No, but then no, that's good. For me, it's kind of the same. I can't remember ever being jealous. Maybe when I was young, and like I was saying, we were in the streets trying to pull chicks, and if like one of your buddies pulled a baddie, and like that fool does she know what a creep that dude is? Does she know what a hidden gem, a hidden diamond in the rough over here is? Is she going for that creep?
Yeah,
But-
you gotta dig a little harder to get the real diamond.
But even then, it wasn't like, you know, it wasn't like that kind of hatred bull. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would be asking my buddy like, "Hey, that's a good pull, bro. I wish it would have been me." You know, like that kind of stuff.
You know what? No, I don't think it's jealousy, but I think it's envy.
Yeah, envy.
Yeah, right.
You're
envy.
right. Yeah.
Jealousy is one thing. Envy is another, bro. Like,
Right.
because then you put yourself like, man, how come? Like, I wish I got that job, or I wish I was doing that, not him.
Yeah,
You know?
you're right. Jealousy is a lot more like negative. Like jealousy holds, whereas envy is just like, fuck, I wish I would have done that, or I wish, you know, da da da. Yeah, you're right. But I've never had any like ill intent towards any of my friends or family. Like if they're getting ahead, hey, bro, that's great.
Like I'll work them on, bro. I'll work
Yeah,
anybody on.
same.
Like anytime, like I
Same.
always tell people, if I can help you in any way, bro, let me know. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And we're adults now. Like we can take care of ourselves. So it's not like hey, if you can do better for yourself, I don't need anything. So why would I be jealous or whatever? So yeah, you're right. Okay. All right. See, hey, we are according to the reviews, we're not good guys, but look at, we are good guys, bro. See, we got some good tips. We got, we're decent people.
Yeah, I'm a good guy, I think.
Yeah, we are, I think, deep down.
Maybe not good. Maybe like you said, decent. I think I'm decent.
Decent. Good is like you're actively doing good for everybody. I don't know if either one of us is doing that much good for anybody, but we're decent. You're right. We are. I think you could trust me and you to make the right, decision or the right call, to do the right thing, I guess, All right. What's the dumbest fight you ever had with a friend? And I'll let you take this one because I don't think I've had little disagreements stuff, but I never got into like a fist fight with my buddies or anything like that. One time, but this was like last year. It wasn't even that. I got super drunk and I don't know why. I was just in a bad mood. And I got into it with one of my buddies because I had my chain out and he was making fun of my chain. Like, oh, what is that? A Jackson chain? It's fake. And I was like, for some reason, I just lost it. Cause that dude always kind of like sends little shots at me. Like we both do. It's like, that's our, we joke, we send little. But for some reason that night, I don't know what it was. I think I drank too much. Maybe I was mixing alcohol or what. It was last summer, I think. And we got into it. And I remember I was so embarrassed like later. Like, what the and my kids were there. Like, I'm trying to like tell the dude, like, let's go outside and fight in front of my kids. And I'm just like, the next day I was just like, that was the dumbest. Like, I felt more humiliated and just embarrassed that I even, and I didn't even, there was really no reason. Like, it was just, I was drunk and wasn't thinking right, But that's probably the only. If I had done that, I would have really regretted it. Like, you know what I mean? Because there's no takebacks. There's no takebacks.
Who cares, bro?
Once you swing, who cares?
Yeah, I'm not that good of a guy.
No, but so that's a one I would say for me. What about you? Anything you can remember where you've gotten into it with like actual friends?
Thankfully, no, not with the core group, not with the core buddies. I did get into it with one of the guys I used to hang out with back in my single days before Cass and just roaming the streets, bro. And he was one of the guys I met, one of the other homies that I was hanging out with. And he was older than me, but he's kind of a loudmouth, bro. Shout out Art. But yeah, bro, this guy, dude, he said something. I think, what was it? It was something. I think I was trying to pick up on some girl or something, and I got shot down and whatever. We're licking our wounds, going to the liquor store, and he didn't really drink. And that's when I was kind of like hitting it hard because I was probably like 21, 22. And he said something to me and I was like, you know what, man, forget this. And like, same thing, bro. Like, let's go outside. I'm done with you. Like, let's go now. Inside the liquor store or something. And he's like, bro, it's not that serious or whatever. And I'm like, well, if it ain't that serious, I'm making it serious. Let's go outside. And he's like, no, I'm not going to fight you. And like I said, I was already drunk and he was sober.
Right.
I'm sure he would have just ran around me and probably just pushed me. And I would have probably fallen, broken my leg or something. So, you know what? And we went like a full month, bro, because we would hang out every Saturday. Every Saturday we would hang out a full 4 Saturdays where we didn't talk. And we're in the same car. We're going to the same parties. We're going to the liquor store together. And
so you were still hanging out, just not
we were
talking.
hanging out. Like I said, I met him through one of my buddies. So he was his buddy, right? He just happened to come out.
So you didn't apologize, I take it.
I didn't apologize. I think one of this was back, I'm going to date myself. This is back when like we used to go to the canyon. And I don't know if you know from the canyon. We go cruising.
A canyon club? Oh, no.
No, the canyon. Like we'd go cruising Laurel Canyon.
Actual cruising. Okay.
So we'd go cruising every Sunday, right? And like I said, nobody had kids, bro. Nobody was tied down. Nobody had kids. So we were all 4 single guys trying to look for chicks, trying to catch a buzz. And we would literally be in the same car, in the same proximity, bro, just drinking. And he would just be chilling. And I would talk to my buddy. I would talk to my other buddy. And I went to talk to him. And then finally one of the guys was like, dude, this is getting old. And I think I looked at him and I was like, hey, dude, like, my bad. Like, it is.
You did. Okay.
Yeah. I told him, I said, man, I said, you know what? I think I told him, I said, I don't even remember what we fought about. And he goes, I remember. And I was like, bro, leave it alone. I'm trying to apologize,
Yeah. When you're young, it's more about just pride and everything.
Yeah. And I was like, dude, I didn't think I was in the wrong because I thought I was defending myself.
Yeah.
But then it was like, I didn't realize, like, shoot, I did. I called him out, like, let's go out there and fight. Oh, man, whatever. But yeah, it happens.
Yeah. So it sounds like we've all had. Actually, I had one time a drunk kind of like, it wasn't a fight, but with my uncle, who, like, if you know me, that's my favorite uncle. Like, he was like a father figure for me.
Wait, whoa,
You know.
whoa.
Oh, I forgot about you.
Have I been dethroned? What did I do?
I forgot. I forgot you were my uncle too, huh? I look at you more like a cousin. But this was like just a complete 100% father figure still to this day.
Yeah.
And it was a weird night because we were out with two of my other cousins, me and him, and we went out to a bar, and this was after the night was over, and we were driving home, and me and him were in the back and that's one thing, me and him always go way too hard. We were just completely like shit faced. And I don't know how the hell it happened in the back seat of my cousin that was driving, and we were like semi fighting, like I think I had him like in a chokehold, almost like holding him like that against had it up against and then he was like, and so, but like neither one of us, we both kind of knew too, like, damn, if one of us really throws a punch, like that's bad. It's bad because, like,
there ain't no coming back from this one.
Yeah, there's no coming back from. I mean, there is, but it's going to be it's going to be hard, right? And I remember it just kind of like we both kind of stopped, and then he was just like to my cousin, I'm not gonna say her name, but he was like, pull the over. He's like, pull over now. And she was just like, she was scared too because she'd never seen that side of him. And she pulled over. He got out. And he was just like gonna walk home, and they went and drove me home. And then I'm like, go find him. And I remember after I was just like, because I think it started like a joke, you know, like when you're joking, like, yeah, you know, like messing around, like, you're not that strong, right? Could be, yeah, you're like that. And it just kind of like, you know how it just kind of slowly gets serious before you know it, we both have each other like this. And then it was just like, what the, then there's no going back. We were both like about to strangle each other. And I remember that was, but then we like hashed it out like a couple weeks later. I went over to his house and we went out. And then I remember at the end of the night, like we had both kind of just like acted like it didn't happen. Then at night, it was like, hey man, I'm sorry that happened. He's like, I'm sorry. I was like, I was crying like a baby. Like, I'm sorry too. Like, you know, you're like a father figure to me. I can't believe that it, you know, and ever since that, it never came up again. There's never been an issue. I don't know. It was just a weird night. And the two cousins we were hanging out with too were just like, I've never hung out with them. They were like my younger. It was just a weird night. And I was already married. My kids were, maybe my son wasn't born yet, but my daughter, like, so I thinking it was just a weird, we drank too much. I don't know. It was just,
what did you drink?
I don't even know. He's a beer drinker. I'm assuming I was doing a little bit of everything because I had two of my younger cousins. So they were young at that time in their 20s. So they were probably into shots and a bunch of weird shit. But I just remember it was just like, man, I've never had so much regret. I was like depressed for like that whole following couple weeks until we finally hashed it out, because I was just like, I can't believe it went
there. What did I do? How do I fix this?
Yeah, but why would I go there with my favorite uncle? You know what I mean? Like, so anyways, that was another one where young and dumb and drunk. But luckily, after all these years of drinking and being out of control, like, really, that's it.
Being out of control.
Two freaking like incidents. You know what I mean? Like, that's not bad. You know what I mean? I'll take that ratio. 2 out of
you're batting. What are you batting? What are you batting? Like 890?
Yeah, right. I'm the Babe Ruth of not having issues. You know, because for the most part, bro, I'm a happy drunk. I don't get, you know, I hate because I know everybody's different and alcohol affects you, but like I can't stand the ones that are angry drunks, and you know it's like, yeah, okay, here. Oh shit, I started to see it. Here it comes. And then boom, they got to ruin the night because they're angry. I get happy. My only problem, make sure Desiree's not around. My only problem is when I get too drunk, I get too like horny, bro. I want, you know what I mean? I want to like, I got that, that Aguilar gift. Hey, that Aguilar gift and a curse. Hey, luckily, now that I'm getting old, it's like, my testosterone level. Yeah, there's no, at least there's no more action because it's like, I'm too old. Yeah, bro. Hey,
there's no red ribbon on that gift.
Remember that joke we were saying where we were like, after when we come now, it just shoots out and you were saying, what'd you say? You said yours just has a bang.
It's a flat. It just has bang.
Bing. Yeah, that's the only good and bad thing about getting old is that like you don't, all those young like vices they don't hit you as hard anymore. Now I can go out, like, you know, my buddy Roni, Like we're gonna go Friday hit some balls. I can go drink, and I'm not like, oh hey, we gotta go to the bar now. We gotta go bang. No, it's just like now it's like, all right, hey, let's go have a drink. Let's go talk and laugh and joke, and then we go home. That's it. That's a good night, you know.
So you're saying the way normal people drink.
Right, like a normal
Yeah,
human.
I know people that do that in their 20s, bro. That's crazy to me.
You know, in my 20s, I was an animal, bro.
Damn, man.
You ever
like a tank.
Yeah, I mean, you remember? Do you ever see Braveheart, bro? When he's running the battle, that was me running. That was me running into the bar, bro. I was just like, my face was painted. I was like, hey, there's no prisoners, bro. There's no. Yeah. I'm either winning, I'm taking home something, or I'm dying out here.
You ever see Old School? I was like Frank Pritchard.
Oh, yeah.
Streaking through the quad, bro. That was me.
When that movie first came out, bro, that movie hit so hard. That was awesome. All right. Anyways, all right.
So relatable.
So relatable, exactly.
Relatable now to me. Yeah, for sure.
Okay. We got like 2 questions left. What does being a good friend, quote unquote, a good friend actually mean to you beyond just like showing up? And see, for me, I'm gonna let you take this one, but for me, sometimes I think I just show up because like I don't think my friends have ever put me in that predicament of having to be a good, like, hey, come meet me right now. I'm about to, fight these 3 dudes and I need, all right, no questions asked, come. Like, my friends have never put me in that predicament, so I don't know how I would respond. For my good friends, I would do pretty much anything that's not going to ruin my life or my kid's life. But I have your back no matter whatever. You broke down on the way to Vegas and you're 2 hours away. And hey, I'll do it. I got to work in the morning. It don't matter. I'm going to do it. But honestly, my friends have never really put me in those crazy, maybe my friends are normal or weird or nerds. I don't know, but I've never been in that predicament really of having to, do anything crazy for a friend. So that's why I'll defer to you on this one.
I think the same thing, bro. Just being present. I think present and understanding, right? If you can be there for them, cool. Understand that you're not always going to be there for them because you do have obviously other people that are more important.
Right.
But the same thing for me. I mean, they were present for me, and I always understood when if they can show up, they're gonna show up. And then now as we're older, yeah, we don't drink the same. I think my buddy Jaime and like my cousin Victor, when we do hang out, I think they're the ones that we do drink. But even then, it's like once a year now, and even if that. But yeah, I think being present. I think you know what it is. It's good when you can pick up where you left off, no matter how long it's been.
Right.
I think, when I was young, I didn't give a crap, bro. Like if you needed whatever you needed, I think I was always down.
Yeah.
Like you want to roll up on this fool? Like we hop fences at apartments to go find somebody that was supposedly his girl was supposedly
supposedly is the main word, huh?
Bro, yeah. Supposedly
everything back then is supposedly. Supposedly there's gonna be a bunch of chicks here. Supposedly there's gonna be
no. This was worse. We hopped the fence because my homeboy's cousin was partying with us, calls his girl all drunk, and she's like, I don't want to see you anymore. And he's like, let's go to her apartment right now. Hop the fence, bro. Trespass. Supposedly.
So nobody talked some sense into him, and hey,
no, we all went with it, bro. Four guys roaming the streets of Coronado Hills, hopping fences.
Oh well, yeah, but you're in a good neighbor. You're in a good neighborhood though, so
yeah. But bro, I'm talking about. I'm not worried about getting jumped. I'm worried about getting arrested. Like
yeah.
And then we're knocking on doors. We don't even know what apartment. 1 a.m. Dude, people were open. What do you want? Oh,
you're lucky nobody opened with a shotgun.
Exactly. I mean, you think about that now.
Right.
Yeah, when I was like, dude, I got this door. I got apartment.
Just get out.
Apartment 4C.
Right.
Dude, stupid.
When you're young, when you're young, you think you're invincible, bro.
Yeah, you're young and you're reckless. And then
young. What's the saying? Young,
dumb, and full of some stuff.
Yeah. Have you noticed I've been editing on the video? So I go through and I take out all the cuss words and all the, so that way it's
from an hour and a half to 18 minutes. No, I think that's why I told you, Cass saved my life. When she was born,
yeah.
I was like, I can't be hopping fences to go knock on random people. Blah.
No, 100%. I can't imagine. I can't imagine if I didn't have kids what I would still be. I'd be dead. I'd probably,
Yeah, no, I'd be in jail or I'd be
be
dead
in them
for sure.
streets. Yeah, yeah. I would
For sure.
definitely have HIV for sure.
Whoa.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I'm just kidding. Supposedly.
Supposedly I would have. No, I'm just kidding. I always used protection. I believe in
Celibacy, bro.
Oh yeah, celibacy.
Not by choice.
All right,
Not by choice.
not by choice. All right. Last question. Do you think you're a better friend now than you were? This question is 5 years ago, but let's just say in the past, anytime. And obviously it has to be yes, right? Or maybe no, because maybe back then you were more down to just do anything for a friend, and now it's like, oh, I got kids, bro. I can't go and with you and shoot your chicks,
shoot your buddy, shoot your ex because she's cheating. I think you can look at it this way. I think I'm a better friend because I have more to offer as far as
more knowledge,
knowledge, and more help, bro. Like I don't think any of my buddies are looking for somebody to go help them jump somebody.
Right.
I don't think my buddies gonna be like, hey man, let's go shoot somebody. Like,
right.
But I think they're more likely like, hey bro, my AC doesn't work. Can you come check it out?
Oh, that's right. You're an AC dude, huh?
You know what I mean? Yeah. So I'm like, yeah, let me go see what's up.
Quick question: do you get mad when family or friends are like, hey bro, like my AC's kind of not working. Can you come check it out? And then you show up and it's like completely blown out, and they want you to fix it out of thin air.
Like, what the fuck happened? No, you know what? People really don't hit me up. I get every now and then, but it's in.
How do you look at that though? But does that kind of upset you? Like, what the like y'all just use me because I'm
nah, because you know what? Like I said, my core friends, they can hit me up for whatever, bro.
Yeah.
If I can go, I can go. But also, there's a lot of times where I can't go, especially like if Laura's working, I'm not about to take the kids with me. Like, I'll tell them straight, right. I can't go. I got the kids or whatever. Like,
right.
Laura's at work. Like,
Yeah.
But if I can go, for sure, bro, I'll go. Don't matter.
So you're that type. You have no problem.
Yeah, I have no problem, bro. If you need help moving, I got a truck. Whatever. Like, you need help with something. If I can help you, like I said, I put that out there, bro. Like, if I can help you, hit me up. If I can do it.
And that's how I am. I don't have any specialty like you. I mean, unless you need help, I don't know, picking up a chick or something. But even then, my game's old. But like, I don't really have any specialty. But if you need my help, it would be.
Yeah.
I can't really do much. I can plug some stuff in for you. I can't do much. But I am always, if somebody needs help, down. Hey, what do you need? Yeah. Or just, can you help me come build? Yeah, 100%. But okay, that's good. Actually, there's one more question. What do you look for now in a friend? And are you even taking new friends, or is it kind of like, is it like, hey, this job is closed? You know what I mean? There's no new hires.
You know what? It's funny you mentioned that because I actually had this conversation with Cass not that long ago. Where I told her, I said I have my core friends, right? But I kind of I've kind of transitioned over to where now I have work friends.
Oh,
and those are the guys
like hang out, like
where I got
outside of work. Oh, okay.
I got to a certain point where I was like hanging out with the guys from work. Like, they'd come over. Some of them have kids. Now, like, I have buddies at work that I talk to them on a regular basis. Sometimes I'll hit them up like, I need some tech support. Like, hey bro, I'm stuck on this call. Whatever, you think you can help me out? Shout out Raimundo. And I have other people that are like from because I've worked in a bunch of different areas for work, and I've made like I started noticing that I guess with these guys, like, see them 40 hours a week, so you become buddies with them, and then they're pretty cool. They're from the valley, and some of them
have a lot in common.
Yeah, they invited me. One of them invited me to his wedding, so I went with Laura. We went, and it was good times. I was hanging out with another buddy there.
Are you a groomsman or what? Or did you get the call for a groomsman or?
No. Oh, just not only that, but they went to my bachelor party. Like, the bachelor party was sick, bro. I wish we would have been in contact.
Bro, I've never been to a real bachelor party, bro.
Yeah, no, this was cool. It was a bunch of people. That's where you would have seen the core group.
Well, you gotta invite me out one time when you hang out with your core. I like to meet.
I don't
You don't hang out enough. Yeah,
I with them, bro. It's pretty well. The one that I've known the longest, Jaime, shout out Jaime, he's in Hawaii. He's the one that was in the army.
He's living in Hawaii. Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So he'll come down here because his mom lives out here, and then he'll come down here and we'll kind of hang out. But it's usually like sometimes it's like last minute or he'll just up like, hey, dude, I'm gonna be out there in 2 weeks. Like,
Right.
So and then I'll go over there like on a Saturday. We'll have a barbecue. That I take an Uber home. I mean, for something like that, if you're down to roll out, yeah, for sure for the next one. But
oh yeah. Hey, if it's got alcohol and Uber, that's
alcohol, Uber, and probably carne asada, bro.
Yeah, can't go wrong, bro. Can't go wrong.
But yeah, and I mean, so yeah, that's kind of like I said, I have these work buddies. I have my core group, and I still have random people, especially like sometimes I'll run into people that I went to high school with, especially now that I'm working in the Valley. It's crazy because sometimes I'll run into people that are like picking up their kids or dropping off their kids, and they're like, dude, I haven't seen you since high school. Like that's pretty dope. And we chop it up for a little bit, but yeah, I mean, I'm always willing. Like now, not only that, but now I have like you and like Mike and like you and Davey and them. Like now you guys are hanging out. Now we're kind of doing our thing with that.
So that was my question too. I had like you and Mike. When did you guys start hanging out? I mean, I know you guys like kind of grew up together because you had the cop, Uncle George would always come get you and stuff, or whatever. You guys used to pick you up and you'd hang out. Yeah. But when, like, in adulthood, did you guys start hanging out again, and why? Like, what?
When we actually started hanging out, must have been maybe like 2011, maybe.
Okay, so it's
I think we obviously we would always be cool at parties and stuff. You know what? Actually, it was like 2012, I think, when I don't know, maybe it was George's retirement or. There was I think a time where we hung out with my dad. You want to go visit my dad? I think George was there, and Felix was a baby, dude, and because Nick's got like a year on Felix, right? Okay. So at the time Nick and Felix were hanging out, I think Felix was crawling, and Nick was already walking, and then we would see each other every now and then. But when it really like jumped off was for my 40th birthday. That's when we started like hanging out like on like more.
Yeah.
And then we just kind of took it from there, bro. And like I said, like it's kind of the same thing where like where Judy gets along with Laura really good.
Right.
How Des gets along with Laura and Judy.
That always helps. Yeah.
Yeah, because like I'm more like I go with whatever Laura like decides. Like she wants to have a barbecue, let's have a barbecue. If we have a party, she obviously runs everything, so she reaches out to you guys or whatever. But I'm not one to be like, hey, listen to this party on Saturday, like, let's invite so-and-so. So if the fact that they connected made it better for us, because that's, to me, that's the one that handles business.
I 100% agree. I don't know who I was telling, but I'm the complete opposite of, if it, like say me and you were friends, but there was no Desiree, or no, not family, whatever. We would probably hang out once a year, because
if that,
that's just not, I don't know. I'm not good at that. I don't ever reach out. I don't but I'm always down. But if I do come up with something, I'll tell Desiree, and then she'll, hey, call Laura, call Judy. Let's try to set something up. But I'll let her set it up, and then we'll end up, hanging out or whatever. But I've always been bad at that. So I go through her 100%, but that's kind of sounds like how you are too. That's good. That is good that we kind of got lucky, me, you, and Mike, that we all had, all the ladies ended up liking each other, because you never know. Sometimes it could be one that they didn't like, and then that ruined everything, but they seem to all get along. Mike just came up last weekend, and I didn't even know Desiree, I was golfing. And I coming home, and she's like, well, where are you? Hurry back. And I'm like, what's going on? And she's like, oh, Mike and Judy are coming in rows. And I'm like, oh, you didn't even tell me. I'm like, all right. That was the longest day ever. I had to get up early. We golfed. I was already drunk. I wanted to just come home, shower, and go to sleep. But right when we get home, like, they're already all in full party mode drinking. I went up. I'm like, let me just at least go shower. And as soon as I showered, I came back down. I was like, boom, I just started drinking again. And, it gives you nothing. It gives you that momentum. That drink starts giving you that momentum, and boom, it was a great night. And we were playing games, and Mike, That dude has a solid ass playlist. We let him take over the speaker again. I'm like, damn, bro, nothing but hits, all hits. I'm like, bro, I might have to have you DJ my my next party, man, because it's like he plays good. So we ended up just listening to music. I forgot what they made to eat. I don't know. I can't remember, but we playing music. We were playing games. Me, him, and Felix. The chicks were all talking. It was a great night. It was like perfect, you know.
Yeah.
When they left, I'm like, that was a great surprise.
Want, right?
Like, I'm glad. Yeah, that's exactly what I want.
I think that makes you feel better was perfect. Yeah.
When they left, I was kind of like, oh man, they're leaving. All right, but that was cool. Like, you know, that was perfect. That was exactly
for sure.
You know,
hell yeah.
The only thing missing was you guys. But I think that Laura was still sick. I think that was the day after. Was that right after the? Was that the same weekend? That was the same weekend. That was the same weekend as
What did you do it on Sunday or Friday?
Sunday, your niece's party.
Sunday she worked.
Saturday, so this was Sunday.
Yeah, Sunday she works.
So yeah, this was the day after that party. Yeah.
No, because she'll literally say like, hey, we're gonna, you know, if we're gonna have a party for the kids, or you know, like we do the pumpkins and the gingerbread house and all that. She's like, is there anybody that you want to add? Because you always, it's the same list every single time, pretty much.
Yeah.
But yeah, like
you guys get a big crew though.
Well, we got a lot of family, bro, a lot of friends, and a lot of, you know. Yeah. And then she's got her core friends, and they got their people that they bring. So I mean, it's a good crowd, bro. Nobody gets rowdy, nobody gets stupid.
No, it's perfect. That's the last two I went. I think it was the gingerbread and the pumpkin. I don't think I did either, but I just had a good time just watching and
she forfeit back then, huh?
Yeah, I saw some of those gingerbread houses. I was like, that looks better than my house at home. For nice, bro.
The best part is your competitive must have stayed at by the mailbox.
Well, because I know what I should be competitive in and what if it's a losing battle, come on, bro. But yeah, so that's cool. So we weren't so different. What I thought we were gonna be completely different, just because I feel like my friends go in and out, like in terms of like I'm hanging out with one for a lot, and then we'll kind of dip, and then this other one we're hanging out forever, for a while, and that one will kind of dip. It's kind of like in and out. But I've had a core group. Since high school.
I think also your kids are older.
Yeah.
I still have Natalia who's not even 10, so it's a lot harder to like go do stuff with her, and it's a lot of stuff. And now when they do sports, bro, like it consumes your weekend, bro.
Oh yeah. You know? That's your whole life. Yeah. No, I get that too. Yeah. I get that. All right, brother. I'm gonna go ahead and end it. Don't hang up. It was good to see your point of view on friendships. Actually, it wasn't much different than mine. So I think we're a lot more similar than we are different. Yeah, than we are different.
Crazy.